Right, so welcome to this video. This is the first of a series of videos that I've always wanted to do on refurbishing ThinkPads. So I've always wanted to do a video like this because I really like the ThinkPad laptops. I've kind of got a little soft spot for them, and you could be surprised how bad of a condition they can come in. I bought this one on eBay with a bunch of other ThinkPads for not a lot. I think I paid £30 in the UK, shipped to my door as well. Out of all three, one of them was totally water damaged, the other one is a crappy X220i, and then there was this, which was an X220i, and this was the reason I bought this job lot, because an X220i is not a bad machine other than the fact that they've got like i3s and that in them. The I in X220i I believe stands for intentionally crap. Yeah, I've never really figured out why Lenovo decided to make these models, but this is basically a base model X220 with an i3, and they put I on the end of the model number. Yeah, this is the condition it came in. It did actually have a screen attached to it and stuff, but it's long gone. It was totally messed up. I'm just looking at this. How would that have even worked? Oh yeah, I see how that would have worked. Doesn't matter. The hinge goes down here and then goes across. I was looking down in there and I could see the heatsink. Yeah, so this condition is basically coming because I took the screen assembly off because it was missing the screen and it was totally messed up. I don't have a keyboard either for this, so how are we going to test it? Now, obviously I don't want to spend a ton of money to test this machine. As you can see, this piece of plastic here, of the keyboard. Might as well take that off, it's totally broken. I can't, the touchpad's in there. And anyway, the bottom case is going to need changing anyway, because as you can see it's cracked there. There's a crack there. Next to the optical drive, hard drive. So, what are we going to do to test this then? Now there's two ways to do this. If I worked on ThinkPads for a living and I've got lots of stock of every model ThinkPad ever made, I would probably have a keyboard for this, but I don't have a keyboard. But I do have this, which is a very dusty Series 3 dock, I believe. Yeah, Series 3 dock for a T430 X230 ThinkPad. But these are electronically interchangeable with the Series 2, I guess this would be, ThinkPads. The only problem is the USB 3 port. It either won't work or it will only work at USB 2 speeds. I can't remember. I haven't really bothered to find out because this is a rubbish dock anyway. I paid like 20 quid for this dock just to test this laptop. But also I can use it with my T430. So let's hook this up. So I've got a VGA connector here, which I can screw into the back of here. Now I don't have a battery on this machine, so I'm also going to need a charger. There we go, I nicked the 90-watt charger from my T440. And there we go, so we've got our dock. We're all charged up. So with a dock we can do some pretty cool things. We can obviously dock the machine now, which is quite difficult when you can't see, but there we go, that's locked in there. And we now have a power button. So I'm going to zoom up so you can see the monitor in the back there. I'm so sorry for the lighting in this video, by the way, but we're going to press the power button. We've got fan spin, and yes, I saw the ThinkPad logo, and it's now doing the initializing PXE boot. You can't see that at all, but yeah, it's trying to do a PXE boot. So let's see, let's plug a keyboard into it, entering setup, and it's got a BIOS password. You probably can't see that on the screen there because of the camera angle and I can't be bothered to change it, but we have a flashing cursor on the screen there, which is a real shame. Camera focus. Anyway, let's just press enter. And that will get us into the BIOS in read only, and we can see, if I turn that light off, maybe it'll go a bit better. No, it doesn't. Anyway, you can probably see that if you're in full screen in HD. It's an i3 2310M at 2.1 GHz. It's got a pretty old BIOS on here. The date and time is about 40 minutes out. And we do have our password set, god damn it. But our boot order is not locked, so we can still install an operating system on here. So yeah, the biggest annoyance is things like lack of Intel virtualization technology, which is really annoying if you're like me, because I actually love using Hyper-V. Hyper-V is a pretty damn good hypervisor and virtualization system. It's what I use at home on my servers. Now obviously I can still use the Hyper-V manager, but I can't run any VMs on this laptop, which is a bit of a shame, although really with the i3 I wouldn't have been running any. But this is just a real annoyance. So if you're buying a used ThinkPad and it comes in a condition like this, you should practically expect a BIOS password. You will be very hard to find one that doesn't have a BIOS password these days, and if you do, they usually demand more of a premium on the used market, it seems. So there are ways to remove these BIOS passwords. On the X220 I believe you can solder a new BIOS chip in, but that's obviously very risky. You could brick the motherboard. It's not worth it most of the time. There's very little that needs changing in here, like the fingerprint is enabled. There is sometimes where in the I/O port access they might disable certain ports, like they might disable the webcam. If it's like from a big business, they probably don't want the webcam. They could see it as a privacy issue. They might disable it. They might disable Ultra Bay. They might disable Bluetooth or the fingerprint reader if they don't use that. They could disable all that stuff. And obviously anti-theft, make sure it's not activated. It says that the module's enabled, but CompuTrace is not activated, so there's no way to permanently disable it with a BIOS password, sadly. So what we're going to do is actually try and boot into an OS. So what I have here is a little USB flash drive with Fedora on it. It's the Fedora, it's a Fedora Spin OS, so it's not using GNOME, thank God. So we're going to discard our changes. It's F12. So yeah, let's go into F12 for the boot menu. And as you can see, our little flash drive shows up there. And as you can see, we've got the MATE Compiz image on here. So let's see if this will boot. So this is about as far as we seem to have got. I believe what has happened is Fedora is, the motherboard is reporting it's got a built-in display. And I believe, yeah, see, I've got a mouse cursor with the trackpad here. I wish it would do shut down now. There we go. The commands on Linux always confuse me, but there we go, the machine has shut down. So this machine here is very much fixable. We have seen it boots, it's got a BIOS password, but it doesn't prevent it booting to USB drive, it just prevents us changing some BIOS settings. This doesn't affect me personally, so I'm going to go ahead and fix this machine up. So we're going to remove its little docking station setup here, plug my T440 back in. So how am I going to possibly make this machine good once again? Well, I'm going to start by just getting rid of this dock. I have found a solution. Now, the most expensive replacement parts on a laptop like this is actually, surprisingly, a keyboard and the screen and assembly for the screen. So, I found myself quite a deal. This is an X220. It's an i5 model and stuff, but for some reason the eBay seller had a bunch of these and they've all got damaged RAM slots. Both RAM slots have a chunk taken out of them. I have no idea why. I can only assume that some sort of data destruction, like a business was like, well, we need to get rid of all these laptops, let's destroy the RAM slots. But that's not how you destroy data on a machine. So all they've done is ruined a perfectly good motherboard, which is a shame because this machine is in very good little condition. I've just noticed some parts that I might be able to actually reuse there. I need some parts for my other machine here. So yeah, but what's more important on this is I paid 36 quid, so about £40 roughly. And as you can see, the inside is pretty damn good. We've got a nice screen which is not smashed. We have a much better condition palm rest, if you compare them there. This one actually says ThinkPad, this one's just got a shiny pit. It's got the sticker Zelda, I'll have to take the i5 one off. The trackpad's in better condition, it's not worn out. The keyboard actually exists. The only problem is it's an AZERTY layout, but honestly I'm a touch typist, I don't care. As long as the keyboard works, and obviously we've got a good screen. The bottom case piece is also in much better condition, so that's quite good. So let's start basically tearing these machines down. So these are the three parts you're going to need. Screwdrivers. Normally I have one nice screwdriver for this stuff, but I've lost it. And one of these, which I can't remember what these are in size. Can I read what's on it? No, I blooming can't. It's too small. But it's a little hex bit. That's for the VGA port on the side. So let's start by, obviously in this case, I mean, that came off quick. And you can see how bad it is. And if you can actually kind of see scrapings, if I get that in the right light, you might be able to. Yeah, look at that. You can kind of see that. It says B Hart Mills. So I'm assuming this was a school laptop. That makes sense being the X220i and the fact that it was totally destroyed and the fact that it's someone scraped B loves Mills in it. You know, school's all about bloody relationships and actually learning and obviously destroying nice quality computers. Look at that. How do you even manage that? I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to take apart. So, yeah, we got things like our Wi-Fi card here. Get some nice simple things out. I don't think there's any screws in the bottom of this because it all just fell apart, so it doesn't really matter. But these ThinkPads are pretty much all the same. Screw-wise, they all have the same screws on the inside, they all have the same screws on the outside, so I don't even need to worry about mixing them up. So yeah, I've removed the Bluetooth card there, I'm removing the speaker. The speaker's got little connects on it. I need to be careful not to remove the BIOS battery though, because if I do that it will lose its settings, but not the password. And I believe if you remove the battery, trying to remove the password, it will actually prevent the system booting up because it will see it as an unattended boot, I believe. That's just what I believe. I haven't actually ever tested that theory. So as you can see, you basically just remove all the screws you can see is the process we're doing here. And again, it doesn't really matter what we do with the screws because they're all pretty much the same. If you look at them here, they're all the same size on the inside. There's one in the middle of the board here. Where else is there a screw? Back here on the charging connector, there's a metal piece that comes off of this. And we can actually use our screwdriver to get the little piece out. So now we have, on this case, there's only one VGA screw. So again, how do you actually lose them? I've never had them fall out on a laptop for me before, but they did. School kids. Ugh. There we go, got that out. So to get the motherboard out of here, then we can then lift it up, make sure our little charging connector comes with us, and pull it out. We can then remove our totally destroyed Windows Vista Home Basic X220i base, and look at that. We have the motherboard for our X220i, and that only took about 3 minutes to extract. So now we've got our working motherboard. I'm going to put you over here for now, because we now have to take apart the X220i5 model. So this is going to be a bit more involved because it's obviously in one piece, which is surprising. So I'm going to start by removing all the screws that have little symbols next to them. I just dropped that screw. Life sucks. Literally every ThinkPad I have seems to have a missing screw. I've just solidified that theory by dropping that screw. But as you can see, it's very easy to remove the rest of the screws. One over here. The keyboard, I believe, this keyboard screw here needs to come out. Oh, I nearly dropped that as well. Black screws on a black case are really difficult to see. Come out. Is that? No, there's one here. Another keyboard screw. I think there's actually only 2 keyboard screws in this. I think you have to remove the keyboard before you can remove the palm rest. So that should be all the screws we need to take off the keyboard, and likewise the palm rest. Now you've got to be careful with these bottom cases on these X220s. They are magnetic. See, they don't have like some fancy crap latch. They're magnetized. So to get the keyboard out of these, you have to push the keyboard up. Now if you've got fingernails like I do, you can usually do that, but a blunt flathead screwdriver works quite well too. Just be careful not to destroy the casing in the process. You see, once the keyboard's been pushed up, it will lift out. And on the X220s, you don't have to be too careful because, as you can see, the connector is nice and long on the back of that keyboard. So we can then have a look at the back here. Got all the FIU numbers on there if you want to buy an AZERTY keyboard. But there, we'll save that for later. Speaking of later, we then have a little latch there for the trackpad. And then, do we still have a screw in there? We do, but it's not labelled. The keyboard just fell on the floor, if you're wondering what that noise was. There's an unlabelled screw which I nearly just dropped on the floor again, which appears to be, is that for that? Yeah, there we go. I think it just had a latch there. But as you can see, that pulls off quite easily again. As you can see, it's very dusty and nasty on the inside. So what we do have in here is pretty much the exact same construction. It's a very similar machine after all. So we've got the same Wi-Fi card, the same Bluetooth module. I will probably use this Wi-Fi card and this Bluetooth module because I believe they have their MAC addresses on the bottom. If they don't, then I won't bother. No, they do not. Normally these ThinkPads have the MAC address on the bottom. Because this one doesn't, I'm not going to bother. I'm going to put these into a spare parts box, and that screw's too tight for that screwdriver. I am using all the wrong screwdrivers here in this video today. So yeah, let's start with this little Bluetooth module. Comes out nice and simple. I'll put you over here, the old parts. Oh, we should we remove the display as well while we're here? That's quite easy to do. We've got this cable here, which as you can see is a lifted up tab design if you've ever used them before. We've got aerial cables here, which I'm actually going to unsleeve these because I have a modem that will fit in this machine, so might as well save myself the effort and just undo it beforehand. Right, there we go. There's 2 screws on this as well. I missed my magnetic screwdriver already, but it's too small for these internal screws when they're up tight. That one works fine on it. I'll put you in the pile of internal screws. And there you go, you're out too. So you want to be careful with this plastic if you don't want to snap it. Apparently it's really easy to do, according to little school kids. I have no idea how you snap that, but then again the machine was basically missing the entire screen assembly, so there we go. That's another piece that we want to keep in good order. And we've got another cable to unsleeve, and we have another display cable here. I can show you this close up here. These have a little tab that you lift up. Once you lift up the tab, the cable pulls out. That's simple. There's a lot of these in laptops, you get used to them. It's not just this laptop. I just dropped a bunch of screws. You'll remember, if I keep doing these videos, you'll quickly realise that I am very good at destroying things and I drop a lot of screws. Holy crap, that Wi-Fi card's installed well. Holy moly. Let's see, can I wrench untold amounts of force onto it to get it out? No, I cannot. All I've done is messed up the screw, and I know you can't see this. I've got a bigger screwdriver. That worked, and it actually made a clacking noise as it came out. So yeah, this machine, I'll bring it back into shot. That screw was a real pain. It was really well in there. Will the camera focus on it? Not really. Yeah, that screw was a total nightmare. But yeah, one of the cool things about these laptops is buying, if I want a new screen, I'd much rather buy a broken laptop that's got like a faulty motherboard or something, because I end up with parts like this little Wi-Fi card. That's a real handy piece to have. Or the strip screw, which I'm literally throwing because it annoyed me. I'm going to use that big screwdriver on its screw next to it because they're tight, and I think this screwdriver fits these internal screws better. I kind of wing it with the screws. You'll learn that quickly. More screws to come out. Oh, we've got extra screws on this machine. Right, we've got all the screws out of the motherboard. I realise now that might be a mistake because I need to turn the machine on its back side here. There's normally screws on the back of the screen. I noticed this is missing them. As for what I can do to fix that, I don't know. I don't know if I have any replacement screws. If anyone out there watching this video knows, I need a magnetic parts tray, that's for sure. If anyone watching this video knows a good place to get ThinkPad screws, like occasionally you find an eBay seller who's like dismantled a laptop and provides a bag of screws, and if you're lucky you'll find a Chinese seller who's just like found the sizes of all the screws and remanufactured them, but more often than not you can't find the screws. So there you go, screen's off in one piece. Another part that I do not want to drop on the floor, although I am pretty good at dropping things, it seems. So I believe now we've got the speaker at the front. Do I need to remove that to get the motherboard out? Ooh, there's the magnet. The magnet just came out. The magnet is an essential part of the speaker, apparently. That's good to know. Except if you've got a magnetic screwdriver, that's going to make it annoying to get out. I'm going to replace that speaker now that I've done that. Or do I want to? I have a speaker here that's attracted screws to it. I didn't test this in the other machine, but the magnet's actually glued in place, so it won't hurt to switch it. And I get a spare part then. Nothing wrong with a nice spare speaker. That's if I ever get another X220, or if maybe there's another machine that uses this same speaker assembly. But yeah, that magnet's not actually glued in there. I don't know if it was glued in there when I got in here or not. But that just came out really easily. It's not glued in at all. That little magnet just comes right out. So I'm going to put you all the way over there because I don't want you to get in my way and destroy everything that I've worked hard for. I found another screw. I've got extra screws on this machine. I'm very happy about that. Now you might be noticing that I'm not really writing down where any of these screws go, and it's not that I'm some sort of wizard and know where everything goes on these machines. It's just, it's really hard to mess this up. Oh, I've got two more screws here. It's really hard to not remember where the screws go, because they only put holes where they need screws. And even if you're unsure, the silver screws only go in holes that don't shine through, so just shine the motherboard or the laptop up to the air, and if you can see through the hole to daylight on the other side, then you need not put screw in. Right. Question is, can I get these out? Yep, I can. I can't do it on camera though, because it's got to be, these are tight. And I don't know if you noticed, but my little spanner thing for this is absolutely pitiful. It doesn't have a big handle or anything. It actually really hurts to use. I believe that's all the screws. Oh no, charging connector. Mustn't forget that. I really like this little screwdriver that I accidentally found when trying to get out that Wi-Fi card. I don't know why I wasn't using it before. As you can see on the, you can actually see that on the screen. Look at the mess of screws that I've now got. So this motherboard is totally faulty, but we should be able to lift it out like we did the other one. There we go. And if we look on the bottom here, you can actually see why it's faulty. These are the memory slots, and some bastard has destroyed both of them. Why would you do that? Like, why? Ugh. But hey, we get spare parts out of it again, like charging connector. These actually fail more often than you think, and I believe these are kind of a standard part between all ThinkPads. You get a heatsink on here, of course, which may come in handy if you've got a noisy fan, although the one in the current X220 seems to be quite good. Otherwise, I don't think there's any spare parts. There's a BIOS battery, but I don't need that. So that's... And I officially hate Panasonic because I was never told when the camera finished recording. It just finished recording when the memory card filled up. Thanks a lot, Panasonic. You could have just given me an audible beep or a doo-doo or something, but... Anyway, this is the working motherboard now. I've part installed it already. I was just putting all the screws in, and I was explaining like, oh, look, I'm going to be using these screws. I switched over the charging connector because the one on this motherboard was kind of mank. The one here was kind of mank, so I put one from the other motherboard on, and the video seemed to have cut out as soon as I took the old motherboard out, so you missed all of that. But hey, I don't. Oh, I'm angry. Screw you, Panasonic. Ugh. So, I am reassembling a ThinkPad. I've got only 5 minutes and 35 seconds to do so. I need to format my memory cards before I do these videos, I think. I don't like deleting files. I deleted some old videos. I just went and deleted some old videos that I know will never be edited into actual videos and aren't very good. Basically just me doing voiceovers over footage. I don't know why I did it that way. So yeah, but still annoying that I lost that footage. So let's put things in here. Wi-Fi cards. Yeah. Because I want to show you everything that's happening, but I can't when I'm on a limited time scale here. I've literally got 4 minutes to put this Wi-Fi card in and reassemble the entire machine, which means I'm probably going to have to stop and like empty the memory card, do a dump of all the content on it. It's amazing how quickly these memory cards fill up on these cameras. I don't even think I'm filming that much. Wow, we're doing quite good for time here though. So let's actually, looking at it, we can put our screen on now. See, that goes in there like that. And this is kind of a precarious move here, but I have no idea if there's any better way to do this. To put these bottom screws in. At least not when you're on a video, not when you're trying to video how to do it. Now these bottom screws are a real pain to get in, I know, because the hinges don't line up perfectly. But there you go. I wish I had the screws for the back. Come on, black screws. Now my battery says it's low, so which is going to run out first, the memory card or the battery? So there we go. We have attached a screen to it. So we now have to do some cable routing over here. I'm going to pause the camera while I do that actually, because that's going to take blooming forever to put the cables in that group. Screen has been attached. I've routed some cables for aerials and I've attached this screen cable because it's now time to put on our new bezel. So this is really annoying. You put these cables through here like that and this cable here through there, but this display cable goes under it and these aerial cables go under it, but these aerial cables and this display cable go through it. Thanks Lenovo. So that then slides under the display. Make sure that's above it. And then screw that in basically. That takes silver screws in various areas. Like here, and I believe there's screws on the bottom and it's held in by the keyboard and stuff when the keyboard's in. But yeah, now we've got this display cable here to route. Another lifty uppy job on that connector there. This one is particularly annoying to get in. Again, probably would have been easy if I hadn't clicked it in first. Then I can do it at an angle like that. There we go. Then push it into the little groove at the back there. There we go. That's nice. This is looking good. We've then got these aerial cables here which route around this fan and also route through these annoying little cable grooves which are, I hate them. I officially hate them. They are so annoying to use. I don't know. I know why Lenovo put these in. It's so that the cables are nice on the inside of the machine. But at the same time, I don't like them because routing the cables is such a kerfuffle. And I've only got 17 seconds of memory card, so right, I'm going to wipe the memory card, charge the battery, and we'll continue. So we're back. It's been like 15 minutes. I've switched the battery in my camera for one that was already on charge, and I've wiped my memory card, or at least taken like 6 gigs of footage off of it. It's a 16 gig card, so I've wiped like a third of the footage off of it. So we can continue with the reassembly. What was I doing? I was putting these wires in, wasn't I? Oh yes, I was. And I've got I might actually move the camera so you can see this better. So as you can see here, this is the Wi-Fi card, and it's got these little antennas. Now it's got, the Wi-Fi card uses white and black. I believe white is main, black is auxiliary, and these things are a real bastard to put on. Did I just do that? Yes, I've got that on there. Brilliant. I do realise now my undoing in that I've got a little secret addition to add to this. A while ago I went to put in a modem inside my T430. I found one and the eBay seller lied to me. This is actually for an X220. It's an Ericsson card, it's 3G, it's got an FRU number on there if you want it. There's the FRU. I'm really sorry if you can't see everything that I'm doing, but these little connectors are really annoying. There we go, one on. Bloody hell. What I find kind of funny when I do these machines is sometimes I have loads of aerial cable left over. Like, loads, and it gets in the way. This time I've got so little, it's almost not enough. I'm going to try and use a screwdriver on this one. There we go, that's in, I believe. It'll probably work better than the Sierra Air Prime in my T440 that says no service everywhere in the universe. That thing's garbage, but then it's made by Qualcomm, so you kind of expect garbage from Qualcomm at this point. Whoever invented the, I can't remember the name of these things. Is it reverse SMA or something? All I know is that they're really annoying, and the person who invented them needs to be annihilated from this universe. They don't deserve to live in this universe for making such annoying connectors. But this is the hardest part of a laptop restoration, I believe. I hate these connectors with everything in my gut. There we go. It's on there. Whew. I really like how that cabling has gone in there. Let's just nicened that up a bit and zoom out. That is looking really good. That's looking really good actually. That, wow, I am actually really proud of how that's gone down there. Normally I dread the aerial cables because they're usually the most difficult bit, but that's gone really well. So we're actually getting almost to the end. We've got some case screws that you can probably see off the edge there. Not really, because the camera's not in the same position it was earlier. But I've got a bunch of black screws. I've got a bunch of silver screws which are inside the computer, so I should probably find out where they go before I put the machine back together. Now remember, I do have the case screws for 2 laptops here, so I might have more screws than I need. Let's just see. I can't see any more screw holes. That's good. I might be able to reuse them screws then for the LCD. Yes, I know I shouldn't be using that for the LCD, but I bloody well can, so stop me. This piece seems to be a bit bent, or maybe it's not clicked in properly, I don't know. Anyway, let's put in the touchpad here. Again, this is another one of these stupid connectors. I would zoom in on it, but yeah, it's one of them connectors where you've got to slide the ribbon cable in and then push the little clip down, like that. You might have seen that, you might have not. That's the problem with this camera and its lens combo. And the fact that my room is bloody pitch black. If I'm going to be doing these videos, I need to get more lights. I've only got one video light here, and it's pointing this way, and I've got my room lights. I'm doing it at 3200K simply because that's the colour of the lights in my room. It means that I can have one. It means I can use them as part of my lighting setup. I'd much rather have daylight, but hey, I can't have daylight when it's 3:30 in the winter. So let's plug our keyboard in. Come on, keyboard, get in there. Keyboard connectors are always a pain on these ThinkPads as well. They're a bit more difficult on the T440s and stuff, but there we go. So now we are able to test again. Now, I always recommend, if you're doing these, if you want to do some ThinkPad refurbishments, get a proper Lenovo charger, one of these round pin ones, and you can get an adapter to convert this to a square pin, and that way you've got the best of both worlds. I haven't actually got a square pin charger in my collection because my T440 was a refurbishment and it didn't come with a charger, and I've already got a majillion square pins, so we've not screwed the machine together. We're just going to test it. We get power light, we get a think light. We do not have an image on the screen. This is why you test before you put all the screws in. Come on out, there you go. Keyboard out, but our keyboard seems to be working. The think light is working, and I've totally forgotten which connector on this machine. Right, so we can, I think that was Murphy's Law there, because what I did is I put the touchpad and that on. I assembled it too much before testing. Oh, this means I'm going to have to undo all my nice cabling here. All in the name of testing. I want to see if that connector under there is done incorrectly. I don't think it is, you know. So as much as it pains me, I'm going to have to take this piece entirely off. It helps when you actually install the connectors properly. There we go. We got an image, we got a BIOS beep there. so we can enter our BIOS. Look at that. Beautiful. Is there any way to check our network adapters? No. I really wish the Lenovo BIOS was more like the Dell BIOS, where it shows you the installed PCI devices and stuff, but as you can see, we have a working ThinkPad here. I do need to reassemble it though. I will probably do that off camera because you've already seen me do that. Right, so the machine is back together, although I missed that obviously. There we go. I've got my cables all nice once again. I think I did a better job the first time, but it's a bit late now. I've reinstalled the trackpad, as you can see. And I'm going to be ballsy. I'm going to install the keyboard as well. Although I can see that needs to click in the back there. There we go. Thanks for popping that up. But there we go, the keyboard does slide down into place. Now I've still got case screws to put in, but we have a working laptop in one piece. Look at that. So I'm going to put the rest of the case screws in now. I found the screw that I dropped as well. That's very handy. Right. So that's all buttoned up. The only thing it's missing is 2 screws on the back, but I'm pretty sure, looking at the screw holes, that they wouldn't have used the black screws anyway, because they look quite shallow. So I'm going to try one of the inside screws. Would you look at that? Fits like a glove. Look at that, that's perfect. Nice tight hinge on that now. So if we look around the machine here, we're still missing a hard drive. I've got a caddy on its way. I'll probably install an SSD in this machine. Here's the top. It's obviously scuffed up, but this plastic piece here is still glued on. We're missing the indicator light panel. I don't know if I could ever find one of them, to be honest. I'd probably have to buy a, because I think that was missing on the piece I had it anyway. So look at that. We're also missing a battery, but again, I can buy a replacement battery. Let's plug in our USB key with Fedora on it and boot up into that. We are getting BIOS beeps now. I don't know if we was getting BIOS beeps before. I don't know if we didn't replace the speaker, did we? We put the old one in. Let's start Fedora MATE. As you can see, our keyboard's working as well, which is quite nice. Our ThinkLight was obviously working, as you saw. So that's working. We do get a lot of TPM errors, I saw. There you go, there's all the TPM errors. And I believe that's because the BIOS has a password on it. I don't know if I could ever fix that, but this machine is lacking a fingerprint sensor anyway, so I don't know if TPM would be of any use. But hey, we're getting the full interface now. Look at that. That is a working Linux desktop. And our 2310M should show up in here. Yep, there's our 2310M. And we should... how's our memory usage looking? We have about a gig out of our 2 gigs free. That's nice. You are now connected to the network. Fantastic. Let's open up Firefox. Thinking about it, there we go. Welcome to Firefox. Hey, we have a working web browser. So we can go to our favourite websites like bluntlab.space. What's happening here then? I can't seem to get rid of this notification. If you're a Linux fan out there, by the way, this is why people don't use Linux. Like, why can't I get rid of that? Can't seem to click anything. But I can click in Firefox. So it's not like my mouse is broken, it's like the menu's actually frozen. Right, well, there you go. But as you can see, web browsing seems to be working. Let's find a YouTube video. Let's have some new copyright sounds. Let's see. Who shall I listen to? So many songs. Cartoons always quite good.
There's a word for that. Dettol kills 99.9% of bacteria.
That sound. It's rubbish sound, but it's sound. That's playing at 720p. 720p 60 FPS. And that is playing smooth as butter. That's brilliant. And our light seems to be working here on the mute thing. Touchpad's working. Touchpad clicks working. Both left and right. That actually hurts my ears, but it's working. How am I going to close the web browser now that the bloody notification has got in my way? Let's actually shut down the machine. And there we go. So all this needs is a battery, bottom, a RAM upgrade because 2 gigs is not a lot, and a hard drive or SSD, and that's a working X220. The only real problem with it then is the AZERTY keyboard, but as you saw, that didn't bother me because Linux by default just set it up as QWERTY, and I was just away just touch typing. Didn't bother me. I don't think the layout is really any different from a normal QWERTY keyboard other than where the keys are if you're key mapped, where the keys are mapped to. So there. So that's quite the transformation. I mean, here's the old bits. We've got the scuffed up bottom, we've got the really worn out palm rest. Obviously some kids pulled that off, the same kid who'd probably called B, and this touchpad's worn out, and somehow they smashed the screen entirely, and also smashed that and this bottom case, and so it took one donor machine, but I think it was worth it, because now this machine, if you divide how much I paid originally, I think I paid 30 quid for the 3 machines. By 3 I paid £10 for this machine essentially, and I spent 36 quid I think it was for the donor machine, so I spent 46 quid on this X220. That's not a bad value. I've bought a £2 caddy. I think I can get battery for like 20 quid. This is going to be under £100 for a very nice little laptop. I actually really enjoy this little laptop. It's quite nice. It's a bit dirty and stuff. I haven't cleaned it yet, but I am very happy with how that turned out. Our new charging connector, as you saw, was working correctly. I was powering it from the new charging connector, so that's good. And we've got a bunch of spare parts for our next ThinkPad project, I guess. I'll keep all them screws somewhere and stuff in case I get another ThinkPad X220 in. I'll also keep the battery, the speaker, but I'll have to somehow glue that magnet back on, if that's even possible. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I want to just say there will be more videos like this in the future, and that's because I really like these ThinkPads, and while there isn't a whole load of these on the spares and repairs market, most of the ones you find on eBay are like, we took the hard drive out and the RAM out and now it's faulty. That's not faulty, that means I just need to put parts in that I kind of expect to put in, or like it's faulty, it works just fine but it's missing the charger. This was as faulty as I would probably work on a machine that's missing lots and lots of parts and is in really bad condition, and making it less bad condition. It's not perfect, but it's got all the screws in it now, so that's got to count for something. But yeah, nice little machine, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video where we'll be doing another cool ThinkPad.